What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another film review. Today we're taking a look at a film which I watched recently on Netflix. As I do every night, I always have a good old movie night every night before bed, because I like a good movie, and I always need something to review for the next day for you guys. So today we're going to be going into a very, very interesting movie. This movie is called The Roommate, and this is a 2011 film, which is 1 hour and I do believe 42 minutes long, and you can watch it on Netflix. It is a very strange psychological, realistic horror film. There isn't nothing too over the top like the slasher films. There's nothing too unrealistic like the paranormal or the sort of Exorcist movies. So without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say before I get into my opinions. It has a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very, very low. I don't think this movie is that bad. It has a 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb and a 2.2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And you can check it out on YouTube, Google Play, and also the Sky Store. Sarah, a college student, meets Rebecca, shares a room with her. They start off as friends, but things turn deadly as Rebecca becomes obsessed with Sarah and begins to forget people in her life. So, how the story actually goes is with Rebecca and Sarah going to college and getting to know each other quite well over the first couple of days. Sarah then threatens Rebecca's best friend and assaults her in the shower to make her stay away from Sarah, or Rebecca. I get their names mixed up. The roommate just assaults the people. She then starts drawing pictures of her all the time in the journal, gets very obsessive, makes sure that she's home on time, makes sure that she doesn't stay out late, and this doesn't worry our main character at all in the slightest. She just sees it as normal. She lets the cat out and lets it run away, so then she doesn't have a reason to leave the room anymore when she's offered more space to live at someone else's house. And she's very possessive of our main girl here. She does take her home for Thanksgiving, where she didn't tell the parents that she was bringing a mate, and that they were going to share the same bed instead of, have her own room. She follows her and stalks her on social media, has loads of pictures of her, and just wants to spend as much time as she can with her. Very obsessive, very creepy behavior. She tries to break her and her boyfriend up, and she ties up her friend, and, threatens to kill her if she tried to leave. They end up having a fight, and she ends up being murdered in the end, and for whatever reason she gets a happy ending. I'm gonna be honest, I think she should have been punished for killing. I know it was in self-defense, but still, you still killed somebody. I know she was trying to kill you, but still, self-defense. I don't think she should have been praised as, a hero for doing this, because, she was clearly not well in this movie. We established that she was taking medicine. The mother should have warned the girl, she shouldn't have, passed it off as, oh yeah, she doesn't need her meds, oh, forget I said anything. That was an awful thing for the mum to do, because the mum knows what she's like, because when they go back to her hometown, they know, and the friend, she was obsessed with this other girl from her own hometown, so, her needing to take these medicines is important, and I don't get why the mum isn't enforcing that, or making sure that that's happening, or at least telling the roommate, hey, she needs to take these, make sure that she takes these. So, I do feel like the mum was also in the wrong here. We never got to see the mum's reaction to her daughter being killed. We never got to see the dad's reaction to his daughter being killed, which is unfortunate. I thought that they would have had at least something to say, and they were made to be important characters because they dropped the hints being like, oh, is she taking her meds? and then it's like, oh no, never mind. I just think that's an awful thing for the mum to do, and even the best friend to just take the advice. I know she was assaulted, so she's gonna be scared to go and talk to her friend, but she's still her friend. She should still like tell her like, hey, your roommate assaulted me in the showers, because that's fucking terrifying. That's an awful thing to happen, and you're very vulnerable. I know it's the horror cliche to get attacked in the shower, but again, I hate the fact that they had shared showers anyway in the dorm room. I don't live in America, I live in the UK, and I never went to college or university, so I didn't live in any shared dorms. I don't know if sharing a shower room with everybody else in your dorm is the norm, but it's still very weird and still a very vulnerable thing to, like, have. I don't think that it's that great to do that. I think that's a really awful thing, and I'd probably try and want a room with my own shower. I don't know, it's just all these little things in this movie all add to, like, I'm not saying the stalker's in the right, because there is no way in hell she's in the right. I just feel like they're villainizing her when all she needed help. She needed help, and no one was there to give her that help, and no one was there to be willing to support her. Like, the roommate was obviously obsessed with this girl. This girl didn't offer to help. This girl wasn't like, hey, you need to take your meds. Hey, like, you need to go to a therapist or something. She was just straight up leaving, getting out of the situation. That is a good thing to do, like, if it gets to a certain point, but she should have tried to help first. If she tried to help, and if the mother warned, that would have been a much better solution. I feel like they were using this sort of like mental health issue to just like hide the fact, or to try and make it seem like, you know, she was a villain and like a bad guy, but she wasn't. She just needed help. And I was kind of upset that she didn't get the help she needed, and she ended up being killed. I'm glad that no one else died in this movie, because that fair enough. No one should have died in this movie. And she shouldn't have killed anybody. She shouldn't have tried. Again, I know it was self-defense, but it shouldn't have had to get to that point. There is plenty of points before you get there, like, that you could have done something to make a difference, to sort of try and help them out, and not just abandon them, leave them. Like, you said it. They were friends. They became friends very quickly. They're roommates. So if you were really friends, you would want to help them. You'd want to sort of help them get out of this sort of obsessive stuff. If you are being stalked, it is best to get out of that situation as quickly as possible. I have heard real life stories of people copying people's full identities and trying to be them, trying to be this person that they're obsessed about and take over their life. That shit is scary. That shit is terrifying. This wasn't like that though, and there were so many points in which you could have helped and sort of realized, and instead of running from the issue, you could have tried to help first. And I know that's easier said than done, and I can sit on this sort of like quote-unquote high horse and say all this. I've never been in a situation like this, but I still think there was better ways to go about it than what happened in this movie. And this movie was actually one that did scare me a little bit, because like I said before, in horror movies, the scary horror movies for me are the ones which have the more realistic aspects to them and shit that can happen in real life, like with Saw. Those movies scare me the most because that shit can happen. That shit could be real. Someone could be that psychotic and trap you in these situations. It's more realistic than like Freddy Krueger killing me in my dreams. And this is even more real than Saw. So this is very creepy, very eerie, and is a different kind of scary to those slasher movies, which get you with cheap jump scares and stuff like that. I think that this is a good movie, and there is lessons to be learnt from this movie. And I just think that this movie could have been done better. So I do think that this movie is going to get a 4 out of 10, in my opinion. Let me know what you all think down in the comments below if you have seen this movie, and what your thoughts and opinions are of this movie. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one. Hope you all have an excellent day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe. If you do want me to review any of the movies, TV shows, or animes, or even video games, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll get on it as quickly as possible.